Theologians have coined this term omnipresent, which basically means God is everywhere all the time. They do this based on a myriad of scriptures, both in the Old and the New Testament. God speaks to the prophet Jeremiah and he says, "Do I not fill the heavens and the earth?" In the New Testament, the Apostle Paul says that in him we live, move, and have our being. God is everywhere all the time. And although most Christians believe that in theory, in practice it's another story. In fact, in church today, in charismatic and Pentecostal churches across the world, of which I'm a part of, with our language, it's almost as if to have an encounter and to walk into God's presence, we have to have heightened spiritual activity. That it's our worship that brings him down. It's an anointed sermon that brings him. It's releasing the prophetic that brings him. And the danger is that people experiencing God in that time leave that time, come home, and they feel like orphans because they can't feel or see him anymore. When the truth is, guys, God is everywhere. He's already there. He was already in the worship service before you started worshiping. And what I think we need to do more than trying to bring him down is practice our awareness and develop our spiritual sensitivity. In fact, Brother Lawrence, a monk from back in the day, wrote a book, Practicing the Presence. And in it he says, I gave up on devotions. He began to walk in God's presence every day. And he didn't need to do these devotions anymore to have God come. But he doesn't say, I've just stopped doing them. He says, I started doing them whenever I so pleased. You see, his devotions and his worship, all these other spiritual activities, reading the Bible, having a quiet time, they started to come as a response to God's presence and not a desperate cry for God's presence. And if we could start going to church and instead of dancing and singing to try and bring him down, that we started going there and we started worshiping and singing because he was already down. Everything we did was a response to him. Now you might be sitting there going, well, that's great, Matt, but what about the times when God's presence is strongly manifest in a place, a room, or an atmosphere? And I love that, and I think that's great, but manifest simply means to show, to reveal, to show what is already there, what is already happening. Guys, when the manifest presence comes, it's just a revealing of him already being in that place. And sometimes there is an increased angelic activity and other things, but guys, he was already there before it started. And this is great news because we can stop doing all these things feeling like orphans trying to get his attention, and we can just live in his presence all the time, and the outflow of that, these rivers of living water which flow through us because we're connected to his presence. That we start reading the Bible because we can't get enough of it, because we can't get enough of him. Guys, even as I'm saying this right now, you can stop scrolling through your Facebook feed or checking out the next YouTube channel and just start developing your awareness. He's in the room right now. He's around me right now. He's around you right now. And you can drink from that well. Psalm 1 says that we're planted by streams of living water. That it doesn't matter what the season is, if we're in a dry time, a lonely time, a happy time, a valley time, that you can drink from the river of life, who is Jesus Christ. Why? Because he's everywhere all around you. And the amazing thing is, I'm just talking about the omnipresence. I've not even touched the fact that he is in the life and the heart of the born again believer. That is something else entirely. Guys, I hope this encourages you. As you can tell, I'm quite passionate about this because I want us to walk in an encounter of God every day.